Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we are going to try and answer the question, just what the hell happened to free XP ships? Now you might be thinking, but Mountbatten, there are free XP ships in the game. Yes, there are. There's still quite a few in the game. We still have the likes of the Agir, the Azuma, and their buddies still in the game, but if you take a look back at the past year, there really haven't been any new free XP ships introduced. And that's what we are going to be looking at today. So let's go ahead and dive right on into it, taking a quick look back at the history of free XP ships. So free XP ships were first introduced with the Missouri back in December of 2016, for a price tag of 750,000 free XP and 1 credit. And for that, you got a ship that was the first Tier 9 premium ship in the game, had an absolutely broken economy for the time, and if you're lucky enough to still have the old Missouri today, you still have that broken economy. Now, 750,000 free XP back in December of 2016 was an absolute mountain of free XP for the time. We didn't have special signal flags, and this is well before we had the ability to mount 21 flags of our choosing on our ship. So the grind for the Missouri was quite staggering for many a player, and took most players quite some time to get to the Missouri. Then Musashi comes along in February of 2018, and for a brief moment you could get the Musashi and the Missouri at the same time. And Musashi was available for 750,000 free XP as well. Then the Kronstadt came out of May 2018 for 750,000 free XP as well. Then we had the Nelson come out as a Tier 7 premium ship for 375,000 free XP. For quite some time there, we had quite a few free XP ships coming out at a seemingly regular basis. Then we had the Alaska come out as a Tier 9 premium ship for 1 million free XP. And at this time, special signal flags have been introduced into the game. The ability to mount 21 signal flags follows not long after. Then the ability to farm free XP, especially for veteran players, is becoming easier and easier. 1 million free XP is no longer a major hurdle for a decent chunk of the player base. Agir, Azuma, and Friesland are all released for 1 million free XP, but at this time too are also sold in the premium shop outright for much cheaper than the cost of converting free XP. At this point, Wargaming is more willing to outright sell Tier 9 premiums. Tier 10 destroyers Small and Hayate get released for a whopping 2 million free XP. Converting this much free XP is over $300. Or you could farm for a few weeks with all the special signals and booster camos equipped. Then suddenly, it stopped. Now, we did get Ragnar released recently to satiate the player base that was asking for the Friesland to be moved into the Dutch tech tree, but that's really just the Friesland with a different name and a different tech tree, so I don't really consider it a new quote-unquote free XP ship. Now, think about this too. Agir was the last free XP ship released, and that was in update 9.5. We are getting ready for 11.0. Literally in 3 months from now, we will be almost in 11.5. So it's almost 2 full cycles away from the last free XP ship being released. So what happened there? We were getting them at a decent click, and then suddenly it stops. So I've come up with 3 reasons that are probably the cause of this. First off, free XP became inflated. With the introduction of special signal flags, the ability to mount 21 signal flags being added, it became much easier for the average player to grind out free XP, hence the increase in price from 750,000 free XP, which was such a monumental task back in 2017, to 1 million free XP for a Tier 9 premium ship. I've talked about this before in my X amount of games to grind to Tier 10 videos. If you have special camos equipped, like the Spring Sky camo, or even some of the newer special camos, you've got the economy flags equipped, the special signal flags equipped, it's absolutely no problem for a high-skilled player, or not even a high-skilled player, just a player that's good at farming, to grind out more than enough XP to get to Tier 10 in about 20 or so games. And that right there, depending upon what line you're grinding up, is roughly 750,000 to 800,000, sometimes touching a million free XP in just about 20 or so games. Now, that is of course an extreme case, but for the average Joe running this same setup, they can do that in about 50 or 60 games. Spread that out over 1 or 2 weeks. It's 1 or 2 weeks to get a tier 9 premium ship for 1 million free XP and 1 credit. So that happened. Then we had coal introduced into the game. Coal became the go-to resource for new resource premium ships. Coal is given out for daily containers, daily challenges, daily shipments, etc. Coal cannot be farmed in the same way free XP can be. In this way, its distribution is much more controlled by wargaming than free XP. While a high-skilled player running max boosters can earn enough free XP to buy a gear in a few weeks, that same player cannot boost their coal earnings to that level. They will still have to play the game for roughly a month or so to earn the coal. And depending upon what events are going on in the game, if it's like the Snowflake event right now, where you can get coal for just playing your fleet in the game, or if there's a dockyard going on that hands out coal for reward stages, but you still have to play the game over that period of time, which is what the devs want. You continue to play keeps the servers full, and the longer you play, the more likely you are to spend money on the game. But while at the same time coal is more controlled in its distribution, it makes these resource premiums more accessible to the average player. By just playing the game and collecting their 3 daily coal containers, every player will get enough coal to get a tier 9 coal ship in just a few months. This is great for players that do not wish to spend money on the game, or that aren't skilled enough to hyperfarm for mountains of free XP. So we can see coal is a win-win for wargaming. They can control its distribution to fight inflation, it keeps players playing their game, and it makes high-tier resource premiums more accessible for the player base, which players definitely like. The third and final reason I've come up with is, quite simply, money. While a few whales might have been willing to shell out upwards of $300 for a tier 10 free XP ship, or $160 for a tier 9 free XP ship, wargaming likely made more money outright selling them for $77 in the premium shop. $77 is a much easier amount of money for a customer to swallow than converting $160 worth of free XP. And sure, while you might be able to squeeze somewhere along the lines of $360 out of someone trying to buy a small end or a Hayate, or $160 out of someone trying to buy an Alaska via converting XP to free XP, selling 3 or 4 Alaskas at $77 makes them much more money than selling one at $160. So profit through volume. So these 3 factors I've talked about are likely the main reason why we won't be seeing very many, if any, free XP ships released anytime soon. They might introduce one in the future, but I highly doubt it. Now, the reasons listed, there's ups and downs for the player base. Honestly, it's mostly ups. Coal is a much easier resource for the average Joe to obtain in the game, and it's much easier to distribute amongst players. You don't have to have players absolutely farming for weeks to get free XP. You just play the game, get your coal containers, and you get your tier 9 premium ship or even tier 10 premium ship, with the Napoli being released for coal as well, which might signal an end to the 2 million free XP ships that they seem to have wanted to push there toward the end of the free XP ships cycles. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? I know there were quite a few ups to free XP ships. First off, like we've covered in this video, it's not really a challenge to get free XP much anymore, but you could also kind of determine the price of your own premium ship. Let's say if you wanted to get, let's use the Alaska as an example. It's been removed from the game, but just the first ship that came to my mind. If you wanted to get her, you could either choose to grind that mountain of 1 million free XP out over the course of, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, or you could have said, okay, I'm going to grind up to about 500,000 free XP, then I'm going to convert that other 500,000 free XP to get my Alaska, which that would have saved you roughly half the cost of converting the free XP. So you would have wound up paying about $80 for the Alaska, which you could have just bought it in the armory for that much. Or you could say, you know what, I'm going to grind up to 800,000 free XP, and then I'm going to convert the last 200,000 free XP for my Alaska, which that probably would have been around and I'm just spitballing here, I'm not saying these are hardline numbers, probably around $40 or $30 to convert that much free XP. So you just got a tier 9 free XP premium ship. That's the Alaska, which is a very good premium ship for roughly $30. That was one very cool thing about free XP that you can't do with coal at all, because there's no, oh, I'm only going to grind up 125,000 coal. I'm going to buy another 125,000 coal from where exactly, you see what I'm saying? So you still have to grind up the full amount of coal. Now granted, if you want to get technical, you could buy coal in the upcoming Dockyard event with the Marlboro, but yeah, that's besides the point. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments down below. I just thought it'd be an interesting topic to take a look back on, a feature that has seemingly just disappeared without much fanfare or announcement, and to my knowledge they haven't really talked about this at all, because, I mean, hey, like I said, coal is good for the player base, and that's probably the main reason that, and of course the money, of course, that they've shifted from going with free XP to coal for releasing premium ships, at least the resource premium ships. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 35,000 subs. We just passed 31,200 a few days ago, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Hope you're all having a wonderful Monday and have a wonderful week, and hope to catch you guys in the next one.